You know what's wild? Every single winter, millions of people convince themselves they're just lazy, unmotivated, or maybe even a little bit broken. They beat themselves up for sleeping too much, craving carbs like crazy, and feeling like they're moving through molasses. But here's the thing that'll blow your mind. It's not you. It's your brain, literally responding to the change in light. And there's actual science-backed solutions that can flip the script in as little as 2 weeks. I'm talking about seasonal affective disorder. And today, I'm going to share the simple solutions that actually work, not the fluff you find everywhere else. Stick around because one of these methods costs absolutely nothing and can change everything. So let's start with what's actually happening in your brain during the darker months. When sunlight hits your eyes, it triggers a cascade of reactions in your body. It tells your brain to produce serotonin, that feel-good neurotransmitter that keeps your mood stable. It also regulates melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy. During fall and winter, when the days get shorter, your body gets confused. You're getting less light exposure, which means less serotonin production and more melatonin hanging around during the day. The result? You feel tired, sluggish, and down. Your circadian rhythm, that internal clock that tells your body when to wake up and when to sleep, gets thrown completely off balance. Now, about 10 to 20% of people experience mild winter blues. But for around 5% of the population, this becomes full-blown seasonal affective disorder. We're talking clinical depression that follows a seasonal pattern. It usually starts in fall, peaks in winter, and lifts in spring. The symptoms look like this. You're sleeping way more than usual, sometimes 10 or 12 hours a night, and you still wake up exhausted. You're craving carbohydrates and sweets constantly because your brain is desperately trying to boost serotonin through food. You're gaining weight. You're withdrawing from social activities. You feel hopeless, irritable, and like you're carrying around a heavy blanket all day long. And here's what makes it so insidious. You might not even realize it's seasonal because it happens gradually, year after year, and you start thinking this is just who you are during winter. But let me tell you something that changed my perspective completely. This isn't a character flaw. This is a biological response to environmental changes. Your ancestors who lived in regions with harsh winters had to conserve energy to survive. Their bodies adapted by slowing down metabolism, storing fat, and reducing activity during dark, cold months. That same biological programming is still in your DNA. The problem is, we're not living in caves anymore. We have jobs, responsibilities, and social expectations that don't align with our bodies wanting to hibernate. So, instead of honoring what your body needs, you push through, feel terrible, and blame yourself. That ends today. Let's talk about solution number 1, and this is the big one. Light therapy. Not just any light, but specific bright light exposure that mimics natural sunlight. Light therapy boxers emit 10,000 lux of light, which is about 20 times brighter than typical indoor lighting. The science behind this is rock solid. When you sit in front of a light therapy box for about 20 to 30 minutes each morning, it signals your brain that it's daytime. Your serotonin production increases, your melatonin levels drop to appropriate daytime levels, and your circadian rhythm starts to reset. Studies show that light therapy can improve symptoms in up to 70% of people with SAD, often within 2 to 4 weeks. Here's how to do it right, because this is where most people mess up. First, timing matters. You want to use your light therapy box in the morning, ideally right after you wake up. This reinforces your natural wake cycle and prevents melatonin from making you drowsy during the day. Position the light box about 16 to 24 inches from your face, slightly off to the side and angled down toward your eyes. You don't stare directly at it. You just let the light hit your eyes while you're doing something else, like having breakfast, checking emails, or scrolling through your phone. Consistency is everything. You need to do this every single day, especially during fall and winter months. Think of it like taking a daily vitamin for your brain. Now, when you're choosing a light box, make sure it emits 10,000 lux, filters out UV rays, and has a large surface area. You can find quality options for around $50 to $150. Some people worry about side effects. And yes, you might experience mild headaches, eye strain, or feeling a bit wired at first, but these usually go away after a few days as your body adjusts. If you have certain eye conditions or take medications that make you light, talk to your doctor first. Solution number 2 is going to sound almost too simple, but trust me, it's powerful. Get outside during daylight hours. Even when it's cloudy, even on the grayest, most overcast day, outdoor light is significantly brighter than indoor light. We're talking about 2,000 to 10,000 lux outside versus maybe 500 lux in a well-lit room. Your brain can still pick up on this difference. The key is to get outside within 2 hours of waking up. Take a 15 to 30-minute walk. Have your coffee on the porch. Stand outside while you make a phone call. The combination of natural light and movement is incredibly effective. And here's something most people don't know. Your eyes are most sensitive to light in the morning. That morning light exposure is like setting a timer in your brain that says, hey, it's daytime now. Let's get the show on the road. It suppresses melatonin more effectively in the morning than at any other time of day. Plus, you're getting the added benefit of physical movement. Which brings us to our next solution. Exercise is solution number 3, and I know you've heard this before, but let me tell you why it's non-negotiable for SAD. When you exercise, your brain releases endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine. These are the exact neurotransmitters that are depleted when you have SAD. Exercise also increases body temperature, which can have a calming effect, improves sleep quality, and boosts self-esteem. The research shows that regular exercise can be as effective as antidepressants for mild to moderate depression, and that includes seasonal depression. You don't need to become a gym rat or run marathons. The sweet spot is about 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week. This could be brisk walking, cycling, swimming, dancing, whatever gets your heart rate up and makes you feel good. The trick with SAD is that you won't feel like exercising. Your body is telling you to conserve energy and rest, so you have to override that instinct, which I know is hard. Start small. Commit to just 10 minutes. Tell yourself you can stop after 10 minutes if you want to. Most of the time, once you start moving, you'll want to keep going. And if you can exercise outside during daylight hours, you're hitting 2 solutions at once. Here's a game changer. Exercise with other people or commit to a class or group. When you have social accountability, you're way more likely to follow through even when motivation is low. Which brings us perfectly to solution number 4, social connection. Isolation is both a symptom and a cause of depression. When you're feeling low, you withdraw from people. Then, because you're isolated, you feel even worse. It's a vicious cycle. But here's the thing. Social connection is medicine. Face-to-face interaction releases oxytocin, reduces cortisol, and activates the reward centers in your brain. Even if you don't feel like socializing, even if you'd rather hibernate. Pushing yourself to maintain social connections can significantly improve your mood. This doesn't mean you need to attend big parties or be a social butterfly. Small, meaningful interactions count. Have coffee with a friend. Call a family member. Join a book club or hobby group. Volunteer somewhere. The key is regular, consistent connection with other humans. I'll be real with you. This is one of the hardest solutions to implement. When you're in the thick of SAD because everything in you wants to withdraw, so make it easier on yourself. Schedule social activities in advance so they're on the calendar. Choose low-pressure hangouts that don't require a lot of energy. Be honest with people you trust about what you're going through. Real friends will understand and support you. Solution number 5 is all about what you're putting in your body. Nutrition plays a massive role in brain health and mood regulation. When you have SAD, you crave carbs and sugar because your brain is trying to boost serotonin quickly. The problem is, those simple carbs cause blood sugar spikes and crashes that make your mood even more unstable. Instead, focus on complex carbohydrates like whole grains, sweet potatoes, and legumes. These provide steady energy and support serotonin production without the crash. Omega-3 fatty acids are absolutely crucial. Your brain is about 60% fat, and omega-3s are a major structural component of brain cells. They reduce inflammation, support neurotransmitter function, and have been shown to improve depression symptoms. Get them from fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, or from plant sources like flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. If you're not eating these regularly, consider a high-quality fish oil or algae-based omega-3 supplement. Vitamin D is another big one. During winter, it's nearly impossible to get enough vitamin D from sunlight, especially if you live in northern latitudes. Low vitamin D levels are strongly associated with depression. Most people with SAD are deficient. You can get vitamin D from fortified foods and supplements. The typical recommendation is around 1,000 to 2,000 IU per day, but some people need more. Get your levels tested and work with a healthcare provider to find the right dose for you. B vitamins, particularly B6, B12, and folate, are involved in producing serotonin and other neurotransmitters. You can get these from whole grains, leafy greens, eggs, poultry, and fortified cereals. Magnesium supports hundreds of processes in your body, including mood regulation and sleep. Good sources include dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. And let's talk about protein. Every neurotransmitter in your brain is made from amino acids, which come from protein. If you're not eating enough protein, your brain literally doesn't have the building blocks it needs to make serotonin, dopamine, and other mood-regulating chemicals. Aim for a serving of protein with every meal. Eggs, Greek yogurt, lean meats, fish, beans, lentils, tofu. Now, I'm not saying you need a perfect diet. I'm saying small, consistent improvements in your nutrition can have a big impact on your mental health. And here's a pro tip. Prep your food when you're feeling good so it's available when you're feeling low. Batch cooked meals. Keep healthy snacks visible and accessible. And remove or hide the junk food that triggers binge eating. Solution number 6. Establish a solid sleep routine. This might seem counterintuitive because oversleeping is a symptom of SAD. But the issue isn't too much sleep. It's irregular, poor quality sleep that throws off your circadian rhythm even more. You want to go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day, even on weekends. This consistency reinforces your natural sleep-wake cycle. Create a wind-down routine that signals to your body it's time for sleep. Dim the lights in the evening. Avoid screens an hour before bed because the blue light suppresses melatonin production even more. And do something relaxing like reading, stretching, or taking a warm bath. Make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. Keep it cool, dark, and quiet. Use blackout curtains or an eye mask. And consider a white noise machine if you're sensitive to sounds. Limit naps during the day. Or if you must nap, keep it to 20 minutes max. Long naps can make it harder to fall asleep at night and worsen your circadian rhythm disruption. And here's a big one. Avoid hitting the snooze button. When your alarm goes off, get up. Expose yourself to bright light immediately. This is hard, I know, but it's one of the most effective ways to reset your internal clock. Solution number 7 is cognitive and behavioral strategies. The way you think about and respond to your symptoms matters. Cognitive behavioral therapy for SAD, often called CBT, is specifically designed to address the negative thought patterns and behaviors that come with seasonal depression. You might not be able to access formal therapy, but you can apply some of these principles on your own. First, identify negative thought patterns. Are you assuming the worst, engaging in all-or-nothing thinking? When you catch yourself spiraling, pause and challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought actually true? What evidence do I have? What would I tell a friend who had this thought? Replace negative thoughts with more balanced, realistic ones. Behavioral activation is another key component. This means doing things that bring you joy or a sense of accomplishment, even when you don't feel like it. Make a list of activities that typically make you feel good. Listening to music, working on a hobby, spending time in nature, calling a friend. When you're feeling low, pick something from the list and do it, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Set small, achievable goals. Break big tasks into tiny steps. Instead of clean the house, make it put 5 things away. Celebrate small wins. Give yourself credit for what you are doing instead of beating yourself up for what you're not. Solution number 8. Create a light-filled environment. If you can't get outside as much as you'd like, bring more light indoors. Open curtains and blinds during the day. Sit near windows when you're working or eating. Paint your walls in light, warm colors that reflect light better than dark colors. Add more lamps to your space. Consider full-spectrum light bulbs that more closely mimic natural sunlight. Mirrors can help bounce light around a room and make spaces feel brighter. Declutter and clean your windows. You'd be surprised how much dirt and grime can block natural light. And here's something interesting. Bring nature indoors. Houseplants, natural materials like wood and stone, even nature photographs can have a mood-boosting effect. There's research showing that exposure to nature, even in images, reduces stress and improves mental well-being. Solution number 9. Consider professional help and medication when needed. Everything I've talked about so far can make a huge difference. But sometimes, SAD is severe enough that you need additional support. There's absolutely no shame in this. If your symptoms are interfering with your ability to function, if you're having thoughts of self-harm, or if self-help strategies aren't enough, please talk to a healthcare provider. Antidepressants, particularly can be very effective for SAD. Some people take them year-round, others only during fall and winter months. There's also a preventive approach where you start medication in early fall, before symptoms fully develop. This can prevent the worst of the depression from setting in. Your doctor can help you figure out what's right for you. Therapy is another powerful tool. A therapist who specializes in depression or CBT can help you develop coping strategies, work through underlying issues, and provide support during the difficult months. You don't have to do this alone. And finally, solution number 10. Plan and prepare. One of the best things you can do is anticipate that SAD will happen and get ahead of it. Start implementing these strategies in early fall, before the worst symptoms hit. It's much easier to maintain your mental health than to dig yourself out of a deep depression. Mark your calendar for when symptoms typically start and when they typically end. This helps you remember that it's temporary, that spring is coming, that you will feel better. Create a SAD action plan. Write down the specific strategies that work for you. Include your light therapy schedule, exercise routine, social commitments, and self-care activities. When you're feeling terrible, you won't have the mental energy to figure out what to do. Having a clear plan removes that barrier. Share your plan with people who care about you so they can support you and hold you accountable. Consider planning something to look forward to during the winter months. Book a trip somewhere sunny if you can. Schedule regular activities that bring you joy. Create structure and routine so you're not just surviving winter, you're actively engaging with it. Some people find that embracing winter activities like skiing, ice skating, or winter hiking actually helps them feel better because they're working with the season instead of against it. Here's the truth. Seasonal affective disorder is real. It's biological, and it's treatable. You don't have to white-knuckle your way through every winter feeling miserable. These solutions work, but they require action and consistency. You can't try light therapy once and expect to be cured. You can't go for one walk and check the exercise box. This is about creating a lifestyle that supports your mental health during the challenging months. Start with 1 or 2 strategies that feel most doable. Maybe that's getting a light therapy box and committing to morning walks. Build from there. Be patient with yourself. It might take a few weeks to notice improvements. Track your mood so you can see progress even when it feels subtle. And remember, you're not lazy, you're not weak, you're not broken. Your brain is responding to real changes in your environment, and now you have real tools to address it. I want to hear from you. Do you experience seasonal changes in your mood? What strategies have worked for you? Drop a comment below and let's support each other through this. If this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more evidence-based health and fitness content. And seriously, share this with someone who needs to hear it. SAT is incredibly common but so misunderstood. Let's change that. Take care of yourself, especially during the dark months. You deserve to feel good year-round. I'll see you in the next video.